Yeah. Hello, one and all. We're pleased that you've come to visit with us. I'm Paul Wirtz, and I direct the EDD program in educational leadership here at Northern Kentucky University. You'll notice the first slide that we punched up gives you an option. And so if you would go ahead and choose whether you are interested in the EDD for itself, you are interested in the EDD along with the nurse educator track. We choose one. Okay. If you're ready, we will move forward. Did everybody get to vote? I hope so. Okay. All right. Well, as I think you already know, we expect that you are with us because you've discovered our EDD program. We have designed a unique EDD program for this day and time. We are looking for people who will be joining us who have exceptional experiences, who are committed to a long-term and innovative program, and the consequences of coming out of that program as a regional education leader. Our new program, as the slide indicates, is a practitioner degree for experienced leaders. We want our candidates to have some years of experience. Our basic requirement is 5 years of educational leadership experience. That's broadly defined, but you'll be in. If you join our program, you'll be in class with people with interesting backgrounds, a variety of backgrounds, and of course, who are looking to self as educational leaders. Our program has a specialization courses and cognate courses that build on your strengths and, of course, challenge you to go beyond where you are. We'll describe both of those, of course. And our program integrates theory and practice. We consider the learning associates who are part of our program to help each other solve real-world, job-embedded challenges. So, all right, new kind of EDD program. We have designed it as a systems approach. We study and are guiding our learning associates to focus on local, regional, and global issues, both educational issues and beyond. We are preparing leaders, of course, based on what we know, research-based, evidence-based practices, and leading to improvements for each of our organizations and for the region as well. Action Research Dissertation is the title we give to our culminating project. It's a dissertation, but it's a dissertation that should help you solve real-world problems at your workplace or in your community or in your profession. And we, as a institution committed to regional stewardship, require and guide and participate in collaborative cohort projects that tackle contemporary regional issues. We actually have several courses that do that, several projects we become involved with as a cohort. And our program is not just for P12 educators. In our learning associates, as we call our doctoral students, are nurse educators. They are consultants. They work in corporate training. They're nonprofit leaders, public sectors, public agency leaders, healthcare institutions beyond nursing, and of course nurse educators and nurse administrators. And of course we have already in our program and always looking for more higher education professionals who are either teaching in higher ed or practicing administrators in higher ed. And we do, of course, have P12 educators, P12 principals and assistant principals and coaches and in other positions as well. Why do you need a doctorate? We would like, well, one reason we would like you to be on stage in that pretty blue outfit, and we do that at the end of our program. Why do you need the doctorate? I assume you are looking at this program because you're looking for an opportunity to produce change in your workplace and organization as well as in your community. That's one of the things we do very well. You're looking to develop extensive network. We, of course, have the network of the cohort that you're with. You will be networking with cohorts, all of our cohorts, and regional educators from across the state. We have an international component, and so you will be networking with educational leaders globally as well. Perhaps the most valuable is that for those who complete doctorates and then have a career ahead of them, 15 to 20-year career ahead of them, lifetime earnings for postmasters, people with postmaster's degrees, are in some of the studies $900,000 to $1 million more in a lifetime in a career, and of course career options. Whatever you're doing now, I hope that you love it, but with the doctorate, we've had people advance within their organization, change organizations. For those of you who are working in agencies now, lots of opportunity perhaps for higher education teaching, higher education administration as a result of having a doctorate. Program elements. We've talked already about strong leadership and community engagement, research opportunities, the cohort model. The cohort model is a particularly powerful model. The research indicates that 60 or 70% higher rate of program completion for those who are in cohort doctorates versus those who are in standalone doctorates. Specializations, to build on your leadership, you'll see we have a choice of specialization courses depending on what your particular needs are. We have, of course, our required courses, but then there are specialization leadership courses which might match your particular goals better than others, and that's a choice. And then, of course, we have the cognate of your choice, one of which is nurse education, and then a completion in SBU is 3 years. Thinking about the cognate and nurse education, my colleague Ann Keller is with me, and we'll let her just take a minute to introduce the cognate of nurse educator.
Good evening, everybody. I am glad to be sitting with my colleagues in the College of Education. We have developed uniquely and had a lot of fun coming up with the idea of, in addition to serving the region by having a program that prepares leaders' education, we were invited and have worked in collaboration with the College of Education to develop a cognate so that we can have nurse education leaders. The marriage of the two colleges has been wonderful in that so much of the work that goes into educational leadership and that of action research and working to solve important problems within your work situation during the action research dissertation works so well with nurses in multiple places, as well as nurse educators who are working globally to prepare more practicing nurses to solve the global shortage. So it has been a great collaboration. We currently have students in the program in several of the level classes who are completing the nurse educator track and have been excited by being able to hang out with educators other than nurse educators to broaden their scope of understanding of educational problems, but also to work with them to solve and develop programs that work well for all kinds of learners. I'll turn it back to Paul.
Okay, thank you, Ann. And as I mentioned, that the nurse educator track is one of our special tracks and that we develop collaboratively. We have tracks also from other colleges as well. We have members of cohorts who are pursuing business writing from the English department as their cognate. Education track people might be pursuing principal prep or superintendency track. We have some working in business. Someone is in a finance cognate track and so on. So we have lots of options. If there is anybody who would like to ask a question along the way, I'll remind you that you see where the little hand is. Under there, if you just raise your hand, I'll call on you, and then you can ask your question along the way. We, of course, will give you plenty of opportunity to ask questions. We don't want you to leave our discussion today with any questions unanswered. So we'll answer everyone we can, and of course, we'll give you our email so you can send us follow-up questions as you think about them. Okay, what does this program look like? As we mentioned, we have built it to be completed in 3 years. We have had people, of course, who have finished in 3 years. We have people who are going longer than that for personal reasons, and that's okay. But all the elements are in place to help facilitate your being completed in 3 years. The format, as you can see under your commitment, especially in the beginning of the program, we have 6 semester hours each semester, and that includes summer. So it's a year-long program, about 2 courses or 6 semester hours each semester. We've talked about the cohort already. We have the in-class cohort activities, and then we have the regional stewardship, civic engagement projects that are done in coordination with class, but of course outside of class. Our model is the executive model. In most of our courses are weekends, like 1 weekend a month. We have had each semester up till now, we have had 1 evening course, also about once every 3 weeks or once a month, and then time in between. And as you'll notice, substantial time in between. This is a doctoral program. Doctoral programs are not glorified master's degrees. There's a substantial amount of work. We have our face-to-face classes. We might meet on a Friday night and a Saturday once a month, but then there's work to be done each week, a lot of exchange. We teach using the Blackboard web-based platform, and that includes lots of resources to read and explore, discussions on an ongoing basis, blogs and wikis and other things that we use to enrich the learning experience and exchanges along the way. Okay, this is the basic layout of our curriculum. Again, it's a 60-hour program, 60 credit semester hours. We have our foundation core, which includes the introductory leadership course, which includes leadership as an art, leadership as a science. We also use this course to build our cohorts. It's fun, interesting, and sort of helps establish the heart of our program. During that first semester, also, we teach the EDD 810 course, which is the Introduction to Research in General and Introduction, most importantly, to Action Research. The second semester, we are introduced to the contemporary issues in the regional stewardship, and we do one of our projects then. And then we move in the research cycle into qualitative research as the second course on that list. Transformational leadership is in the fourth semester, and then statistics and dissertation seminar is blended through the program so that it's a gradual development of the skills of the research skills of quantitative research, statistics, and the basic structure of the action-based research dissertation. And then the 829 is the year-long project. We have worked with the Brighton Center in Northern Kentucky. We are working right now with the Lighthouse Youth Ministries homeless program in Cincinnati. Of course, there are several projects, each cohort interesting, very satisfying work. The dissertation research are the credits that you are taking while you are writing your research. And then, of course, as we mentioned, we have specialization leadership courses, which are focused on the choices that you have in directions of leadership, curriculum leadership, technology leadership, program and pupil, program and employee assessment, etc. You'll see the list when you look. And then the cognate is 15 hours. You can imagine it as the specialization, as Ann was describing, and you'll see their program in a minute. But it also can be a series of electives that supplement your goal and your aspirations as an educational leader. Excuse me. Okay, Ann, you want to talk us through a little bit these courses and help us understand it?
We took into account that we would have a variety of nurse educators and nursing leaders that would be expert in their field, who would be interested in studying at the doctoral level. So we developed a cognate grouping of 5 courses that would look at and be able to work with and to do research and learn foundationally about nurse education as a specific specialized area of education, and to give nurse leaders the time and the support to look at nursing education in a deeper and broader way than potentially they would have done up till that point, were they not at the doc level and working in education. So the first course that we are offering, Theoretical Perspectives in Nursing Education, and we are looking at the foundations of nursing theorists as well as educational theorists who have informed the body of nursing knowledge. We then go into educational psychology of nursing education and look at the nursing student and the nursing educator in a way to refine and enrich the preparation as an educator going into that teaching-learning relationship, well prepared to be able to add to what has been a traditional way of teaching nursing. Research in nursing education will be looking at nursing education through the eyes of an EDD student who will have a beginner or novice understanding of action research, and we will be looking at what kinds of research have been done in nursing education and marrying those two ideas as a way to go forward to look at, identify, assess, plan to solve nursing education's problems and to enrich the body of the specialists of nurse educators. Teaching and Learning in Nursing Education is a course that's going to look at the changing ways of the relationship between nurse experts in multiple settings as to where nursing education takes place, and to look at the multiple the pool of students who come to nurse teachers to learn nursing education in a variety of ways as well. The lab course, Technology and Nursing Education, we hope to spend some rich time looking at simulation and its explosion of importance in the teaching of nursing students, and be able to, our EDD, our EdNet, that would be the Doctor of Education, Educational Leadership, Nurse Educator track students, be able to bring their rich preparation from their program into learn the how-tos of the new way of teaching clinicals and bringing the nursing student to a high level of preparation prior to going into the clinical area. So we are excited about this. We hope to have classes that are filled and with a variety of different nursing educator students working with each other to come to understand and to add to the body of knowledge that has been developed to this point.
Okay, thank you, Ann. What we will be doing is allow time for general questions from everybody, and then if there are any, those of you, and I know there are several nurse educators who wanted to talk with us, and Ann will be available to talk with you after we have completed, the more general questions. I'm sure that you have been on our website and have explored some of the options and the variety of things that we're offering. One of the reasons why we wanted to be sure to bring Ann along on this particular session is that Ann's cognate reflects, and the nursing cognate reflects the kind of innovation that NKU is into. Our program is innovative. The cognates in our college, the College of Informatics, Business, and Arts and Sciences, that's who we are as an institution, and we're very excited, particularly about it, but about all of them as well that are available to you. So, how about we start with any questions you might have? The admission process, of course, is online, and we weren't going to talk about it in depth unless you would like to, or any other questions that you have. So jump in. If you hit the little hand, I can call on you, or if you just would like to talk, then go ahead and push the talk button. Okay, it looks like... Jim, you're on there. Go ahead. Jim, be sure you hold down the talk button all the while you're talking. Jim, we're not hearing from you, so again, if you hold the talk button down, you can talk, and we'll hear you. Also, notice in the lower left-hand corner, everyone, there's a little box. If you type in the space to the right of to the bottom right of that white box, your message will jump into that box, and we can read it and answer the question. So if you'd rather type your question down in that corner, feel free to do so. And if not, if you'd like to talk, just hold down the talk button and start talking. Okay, you notice the questions now in the corner. Jim Ballard says, this is Jim, and welcome, Jim. How is regional defined? Regional to us is the greater Cincinnati area is our primary service region. That's where most of our doctoral students are from. The responses that we give to them is the training that we give are impacting, of course, much of the region. We also have learning associates from across Kentucky. We have some who commute as long as an hour and a half, and not quite as far in Ohio and Indiana, but we have a couple of people who commute to the online classes, to the face-to-face classes for a half hour or so. So that's part of the answer. Lots of questions coming. Oh, all right. This is Malice. Is the EDD program accepting tuition waivers from other post-secondary institutions? We do not have tuition waivers in the EDD program. We have found that some institutions have been able to use professional development funds to help support the tuition of our learning associates. But the state of Kentucky tuition waivers for employees of state institutions we do not use them. Tricia Wendling says, is there a financial assistance for full-time students? Yes. All of our students are considered full-time, since of course we're doing 6 credits a semester, 6 graduate credits a semester. Many of our students do have loans, and so that those are readily available to doctoral students, and it's not a problem in terms of the processing of those. And you can go to financial aid for any more help on that you'd like, but again, we can help you with that as well. Tim Painter says, how many applicants do you accept? Our cohorts are 15 at a time. That is, 15 will start each August in a cohort. So we have applicants in the area of 25 to 30 or so each year. So we start with 15, and I guess we've admitted as many as 16. We frequently find that people have to step out, and so but we believe a cohort of 15 is most productive, again, because the cohort process is a support system. The size of the cohort does matter. So that was Jim's question about number of applicants. Malice, how many credit hours can be transferred into a program? Bravo. Good question. When we talk about transferring into a doctoral program, any courses that are going to be transferred have to be postmaster's courses. If someone pursues a second master's or takes courses after completing their first master's, those are the ones that we can consider. We can consider, at this point, 9 to 12 hours that can be transferred with other options available. If anybody was admitted to another doctoral program, we can, certainly another doctoral program and took courses in that program, we would accept those courses. Well, we could potentially accept those courses if they fit into our program, or as cognate courses. So that's probably the best. If you had individual questions about courses, that would be, we could handle that on an individual basis. The key to all those courses is the entire EDD program at NKU has to be completed within 8 years. So from the time you would expect to finish, which would be, let's see, it's 14, 3 years from 2012 is 15. So in spring 2015 is when we would hope to have you finish. If you were to be able to finish in spring 2015, if you count back 8 years from there, we can use courses that you have taken, postmaster's courses that you have taken within those within that 8-year period. All right, hopefully that'll help. I'm going to go off a second. Okay, those are the questions we have. We are welcome to add some more questions, or if you'd like to talk, we'd love to hear from you. Okay, a couple of things that I would like to add. One is the application process is an online process. Doesn't take too long. There are some supplementary writings and things. When you go to the website, you can see the information in terms of what's required. There are some new questions coming in. It kind of fits my questions, but let me answer this. Let me finish this first, and then I'll come back. We are accepting applications right now. We will be hoping to fill our cohort certainly by the end of April, but could be sooner than that. The already deadline for February 1st, so we have a pool of people, although we have not filled the cohort, and so we're still in process and would welcome applications. Malice asks, how many credits? We've done that one. I'm sorry. Bobby Combs said, what do you consider a leadership role? I'll give examples, and then if you had a particular question, I could address that as well. Leadership roles, obviously, there are some obvious ones. If you are a program head, if you are a department head, if you have a team of people that work with you. In some of the schools, we have had department heads, English department heads, and those kind of positions. In higher ed, you might have been a team leader, even a program chair, or even a committee chair. In the schools, we have people who will serve on many of their committees, and so we define educational leadership in the broadest sense. Sometimes the leadership might have been in a church education program or other setting as well. So again, we define it in the broadest sense. We're looking for 5 years or more. Kevin Gleason says, I like the leadership question. I have taught formally and in consulting roles. Consulting would certainly be, assuming it would be management consulting or similar kind of consulting, that certainly would be leadership training, and leadership fits quite well. Kevin again says, how does this fit? And again, I just answered that, I believe. Tricia Wendling, is this a suitable program for a nurse practitioner who would also like to teach in a DNP, which would be a better choice? And I'm going to let Ann answer that for you, Trish. Thank you for the question.
Tricia, that's a classic question for nurse practitioners who are thinking about a next step. And we have a DNP program in the Department of Advanced Nursing Studies here on NKU's campus. What I would say to you is that if you are interested in education and in teaching, surely an EDD with its broad range, its dissertation preparation, the action research that is the framework for guiding you into how to attack the research of your career and solving your problems. A DNP is a practice degree that is focused on nursing practice in a sense of that practice, not a teaching practice, but a nurse practitioner practice. In our DNP and in other DNP programs, it will include a course or two on with an education focus because of patient teaching and working with groups of staff that need to be educated, that kind of thing. But as far as if you're thinking of an academic life, coming into college teaching or into a school of nursing teaching, then what I would say to you is that the degree, the educational leadership degree with the nurse educator focus, is truly the one that would prepare you to the highest level to be that person. And it's a beautiful degree to marry with a nurse practitioner degree at the master's level or the postmaster's level, because you are at that expert level working with patients and you are prepared to do that. I hope that helps.
Great. I noticed I skipped over the question about the deadline for the this cohort. Again, our cohorts start in August. We do not start a mid-year January cohort, so there are one cohort a year. The deadline is upon us. We consider April 1st the deadline, and we try to have our everybody admitted by, as I mentioned before, by the end of April. That's our goal. Some good questions coming in. Thank you very much. We had a question about the average age of your learner, and I think I'd rather give the range. We have had people as old as in their mid to late 50s. We have a number of associates right around 30. But most would be somewhere in the area of 30 to 40, I think. But actually, we haven't asked them, so it isn't a priority question. Will you have a cohort beginning spring semester? And we will not. We admit for August only. And there's a question from Jennifer. I have an MSN from XU, and I'm also CRNA. I'm looking to teach nursing. I'll let Ann address that.
Jennifer, it's a great a doctorate in educational leadership with a nurse educator focus would be a fabulous way to prepare yourself to teach at the nurse level. I also need to add, for those of you interested in nursing education, in that not just at the master's level, but more and more accrediting bodies want their nursing faculty to be prepared at the doctoral level. That is due to the varied and the places in which students will be leaving undergraduate programs, going to be nursing in. They want a broadly prepared doctoral critical thinking person who can broadly present a variety of ways to be a nurse, nursing in a variety of settings, and a nurse with potentially preparation to go on to higher and higher levels of education, taking a graduate degree, getting a master's degree, and then across the lifetime planning to be an academic or to get a doctorate to be prepared in the clinical setting to be a teacher, leader, educator. So this is, the EDD would be a fabulous degree to have to put you in the highest position to be able to have the broadest choices for your career as you plan across the arc of time. Thank you for the question.
Okay. Thank you, Ann. A couple of good questions. One of them is about the blended model as opposed to the face-to-face only or online only. NKU's program is blended, or what's sometimes called hybrid. What that means is that, as we mentioned, we would meet in the executive type of schedule once a month or so for a long weekend or for a weekend Saturday and maybe a Monday. We anticipate the weekend model is what we're going to do this fall. We're in the process of making some final decisions about that in the next week or two, and not have meetings much at all during the week. So that's the blended model, which then means, in addition to meeting that once a month, we're doing a great deal of study exchanging and teaching and learning online in between. Okay, I'm back. Malice, is the dissertation individual or group? Can you get dissertations been completed? Yes, we just had several dissertation defenses last week. There was one of the school studies was a study of the predictability of formative reading tests for second and third graders, and does the formative test or the beginning of the year test predict the results of performance of kids at the end of the year and end of a year 2 years? So the test at the beginning of second grade, would it predict the results at the end of third grade? And found it would. And the idea is that we can identify the needs of children early on, as early as second grade, so that by the end of third grade, their performance is higher. Very interesting study. Another study was done by a counselor, a university counselor, who was studying counseling on religious and morality issues in colleges. What should college counselors be doing, and what kind of needs do they have? We have had studies of the impact of different programs, developmental programs in colleges, and their impact. Just a wide variety. Obviously, with the wide range of people we have, we've had a wide range of dissertations. Is a group dissertation possible? Yes. Is an arts-based dissertation possible? Yes. We are looking to be as innovative as we can be to help people identify their research issues and seek out answers to those critical questions in many different formats and in many different settings. Okay, I'm back. I'm having to slide my questions. Bridget Ramsey asked, can you connect us with current students and graduates in the program? Absolutely. Bridget, if you send us an email, and especially the particular level, whether you're higher ed or public school or whatever, that you'd like to talk to, we have people who would be proud to talk with you about their work and the graduates even about their dissertation. Bobby asks, I think you touched on this when describing the commitment slide, but can you briefly explain how the 60 hours are completed in a 3-year span? If you imagine doing the 6 credits a semester, then you are doing 18 credits a year, and that gets you, of course, in a 2-year period, that gets you through the basic requirement courses, and then in any given semester, one might choose to take an additional specialization course or cognate course. So the basic courses are 6 credits a semester, and then you fit in the other courses as they come available in the university and you're interested in them. When you enroll in our program, you enroll and pay an annual tuition, and through that annual tuition, you can take up to 8 3-credit courses a year, so you have flexibility to take the kind of courses you want when you want to take them. Bobby says, I think you touched on that's the one I just did. Which 6 hours would be taken? Which 6 hours would be taken together? I think we still have schedules online, don't we? No schedules online. I think that's probably an individual question we can send you, Bobby, if critical. What we do try to do in general is blend leadership course with a research course each semester. They both balance each other, and then we are developing our research skills and our leadership skills simultaneously using across course methodologies. Tim Painter says, can I begin my application process for fall semester 2013? Yes, you could start today if you wanted. Under the best of circumstances, you can probably get it finished in a week, maybe two if you don't have a lot of time. And we still are in a position to admit people or to accept applications and admit people. Oh, I missed 2013. I was getting you in 2012. Yes, you can apply for 2013 at this time and begin the process, have it in place, and we would keep in touch with you through the year once that's done. So surely that would be fine. Okay. All right. Malice asks, based on the requirement of at least 6 hours a semester, executive format, is learning taking both courses at the same time or one at a time? Okay. Good question. We are taking both courses at the same time. So in the current schedule, we are taking like one weekend course and one course during the week, about once a month, not necessarily the same week. However, in the new model, we probably will be doing Friday night and Saturday and taking both courses on the same, blending them together. But the fact is, you would be earning 6 credits each semester taking courses simultaneously. And Bridget says, will you compare and contrast the marketability of an EDD versus a PhD? Yes, I'll be glad to do that. There are two. The purposes are quite different. Particularly our EDD, as we've stressed, is a practitioner's degree. We are helping our learning associates develop skills that they are using on a daily basis on the job, identifying and researching and solving problems on a daily basis in their workplace, be it school or agency, nonprofit, or wherever it would be. We see the scholar practitioner as a person who can identify the problems in their community and in their workplace, and design the study in collaboration with others in their school or agency to solve those problems. That's the focus of ours. Now, an EDD can be used to supplement those who are teaching college, whether it's in the nurse education program or other areas, but it is not a degree in a field. The PhD in general is a field-based degree. You get a PhD in history, you get a PhD in English, you might get a PhD in reading if you were an education person. The PhD is a research degree. It is a degree that's focusing on a specific specialization, maybe a series of them. It is generally designed for higher education teaching, particularly probably essential for a Research 1 institution. The skills that you develop in the research that is the research skills and courses that are required in a PhD program, much more extensive than we would focus on because the primary task of an EDD graduate is not to be a researcher. So those are generally the compare how they compare. Marketability, I think they are both equally marketable depending on what your objective is. So that they're certainly not the same. Malice, if you're transferring in 12 credit hours postmasters, is the annual tuition prorated? No, it is not prorated. You will pay the annual tuition in either case. But again, the annual tuition will give you the opportunity to go as far and take additional courses if you wish, or it is it just covers whatever courses you need. One thing we haven't said, and we will say next opportunity if you pursue it with us, our EDD is the best bargain in the region, best bargain in the state in terms of the cost. Our tuition cost for the 3-year EDD is less than anybody else's program in the greater Cincinnati area, or as I said, in the state of Kentucky. Don't know all of them in Ohio and Indiana. That was on purpose. We felt we wanted to make it right. This year it is $11,400. We don't know for sure that it'll go up next year, but that's about what we have been paying for the annual tuition. We compare to 20,000. One of our colleagues always mentions the 75,000 a year program that is on the East Coast. So I think that's an important comparison as well. All right, Kevin Gleason says, so the EDD is good for educational administration positions in college, public, and for nonprofits and profits. Absolutely. As I said, we have some people who are working in all of those at the moment, and we have people in corporate training as well. So good question, Kevin. Thank you. All right. On the slide that is showing now, you can see a way to get in touch with us through the website and the EDD. You, of course, are welcome to speak to me at any time or email me as well. And Keller, you see her name, and she is available. And when you email that email address up there, you will get Michelle Dingler, who is our super-duper academic specialist and very responsive to questions, concerns that you may have. We'll get back to you in a day, if at all possible, and guide you in the process. All right, other questions, other observations? Bobby Combs says thank you, and I want to thank each of you for taking time to connect with us. I hope that this is just the beginning of a chance to explore the EDD, the NKU EDD with you. And please don't hesitate to get in touch. We want to talk with you more about it, if at all possible. Anne, would you like to say?
This has been fun for us to be able to talk with all of you from a variety of backgrounds. What we enjoy so much is sitting here thinking about how all of you would be connecting in class with a variety of backgrounds, but with the focus that you are all looking forward to the next stage of your education to be better prepared for that exciting work that you're thinking about enriching your educational preparation for, and to be able to serve that demographic that you're hoping to use our EDD for. So nice talking with all of you. Please let us know if there's anything that we can do for you to help you make your decision.